Yo, what is up, YouTube? What is up, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Mr. Raider Kid here. Hey, it's been a minute since I made a video, but I'm here now. I'm not gonna give you the same excuses I did before. It's been a good while. Been a good break. It's been somewhat quiet about Raiders here and there. The only thing buzzing still is that stupid ass stadium problem. And I got some news for you today, along with this is my State of the Oakland Raiders video that I do yearly. This is for the 2016 on the 2017 season. It's that transition, and let's kind of reflect on what happened so that we can move on and get ready, because next week the new league year begins, and I'm super excited for that. So let's get to it. 2016, what was, baby? The Oakland Raiders, and for me, my expectation for the Raiders were at a pretty high, but not too high. I thought this team would go 10-6. That was my prediction. I had that written down. I thought they would win the AFC West, definitely make the playoffs, win a playoff game, and lose to the New England Patriots, who would then go on to the playoffs, or I mean to the Super Bowl, my mistaken, which actually happened. But unfortunately, our season-ending game was in the playoffs, but it wasn't the way we thought it might have turned out from the get-go. So with that being said, let's take a look of what happened with our team during that year. So the defense was historically bad. Discipline is another issue of area. We gave up a lot of penalties. We averaged almost 10 penalties a game. It seemed like it was very bad. Defense was the worst. It got better down the line of the season, but still not good enough to make us an elite football team. And a super elite, I should say, because I mean, if you win 12 games, that's pretty impressive, and well, we were elite enough to get that many wins thanks to our offense and Derek Carr and scoring points. There was games where the defense did come through. Khalil Mack obviously defensive player of the year, Khalil Mack, with some game-winning strip sacks. Those were awesome. 12-4. Derek Carr gets hurt against the Colts. We know that happened. It was sad. It was depressing. Really, this team should have been 13-3 with Derek Carr healthy into Week 17 and then into the playoffs. It would have been incredible. We would have won the West. That didn't play out that way. We can't dwell on it forever. That what-if factor will always ring in our head, but that's what was. The offense was great. It was a top 10 offense. Derek Carr, in my opinion, very much improved from the year before. His turnovers weren't very drastic. I thought his worst game was against Kansas City. If not, both games were against his worst against Kansas City, and that's a team that we got swept by and that we're going to have to find a way to beat, and I think we will this upcoming season. We'll find our niche that we need. Let's see, what else was there? Offense. Receiver core, it was really good. I thought Seth Roberts kind of took a step back from what we saw before. Tight end position, I thought Clive Walford didn't play to what he could have been as well. Not a full potential, but he had some glimpses. He had his good catches here and there, but definitely it's still a lot of room for improvement. Offensive line was fantastic. Was probably the best position on offense that we had besides quarterback. Was that whole group, that car insurance that we had. Now there is one spot on that line, that's the right tackle spot, that's still kind of Malik Watson got hurt, who I feel like deserves that spot. But then Austin Howard came in, did an okay job, but he gets beat a lot. You guys know how I feel about Austin Howard. He gets beat a lot, and it cost us. It didn't cost us, but I mean, you can sense that pressure when other times it wasn't coming at all because the line was so great. Running backs were great, were phenomenal, and that was including the undrafted rookie in Jalen Richard and DeAndre Washington, who we drafted, I believe, in the 5th round. Unbelievable explosiveness from those two. I did not expect that from them at all. They showed a lot of glimpse. They showed that they could handle the load, honestly. And Latavius Murray, even though he did have, I think, about 600 to 700 yards rushing, he wasn't spectacular. He had some good runs here and there, but he did not show me a reason why we should give him a big contract. And we'll get to that, too, in this year's free agents that we're going to have to watch out for starting next week. Well, that's pretty much 2016 on the offensive side. Now let's go to 2016's defensive side, because this was bad, and this is an area of focus that we need to touch on in the offseason this year. Let's start with the secondary. Carl Joseph, the rookie, didn't start right away, but he did show a lot of good things. He can hit. He can make a lot of tackles. I think his first 2 games he had led the team in 11 tackles apiece or something like that. So that was really nice. Reggie Nelson, who we signed in free agency. You know what? I thought he gave up a lot of blown coverages, but overall he was always near the ball, always on the on the guy to make a tackle. So I believe he'll stick around unless he gets dropped for cap space. We'll find out in the next week or so. Let's go on to the middle line. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Cornerbacks, really important. Sean Smith, we signed a pretty big contract to this offseason. Very big disappointment. The biggest disappointment on the team was Sean Smith, in my opinion. From the get-go, from week one, it just was not pretty at all, and it didn't get that much better. Considering how bad our defense was. And then on the side, David Amerson. David Amerson, who got a big contract in the offseason the year before, did not play and really took a step back. He had showed a regression. He just didn't look as sharp and as good as he did the year before, which was last year, and really disappointing. The only player in that position that I thought improved was DJ Hayden, ironically, who we all didn't want on the team to start the season, and we all think is still a bust. Who is a free agent at the end of this season now, but did of course showed some improvement and was playing lights out. Honestly, the best year he had in his career for sure. He got banged up towards the end of the season, and that was unfortunate. Middle linebacking core, not that good. Ben Heaney did not perform like we thought at first. He was not getting it. I think the communication was a problem. And in middle linebacker, you're the quarterback of the defense. You've got to be able to communicate. So we end up picking up Perry Riley off of waivers, and it really improved the linebacking core for a little bit there. I really liked Perry Riley. Thought when he came in, he showed impact. He showed leadership at the linebacker position and was able to communicate. He brought the experience that we needed on that side of the defense. Malcolm Smith, again, man, his matchup, he cannot cover. Especially against tight ends, man, and that was our weakness, especially at that linebacker position, was being able to cover those tight ends, or even at the safeties, man. We couldn't cover them for crap. That was a problem. And the defensive line, let's really quickly. Irving, great, man. He had a great season. He showed immediate impact. Week 1, Drew Brees, the first drive, yeah, he got the strip sack. And then Khalil Mack, defensive player of the year. I shouldn't have to say much about that, man. He was phenomenal. Best game against Carolina, man. I watched that over on NFL Network, and I loved it. I loved it. But the problem, of course, on the defensive line was the interior. We weren't getting pressure on the inside, only on the outside, which led to numerous plays because there was too much time, or there was no interior rush. Maybe somebody started to get out for a run because the pocket collapsed so much on the outside. So definitely need to improve that interior defense, and that's what I'm most excited for this season. So that's 2016. That's in the past, guys. If you made it this far to the video, thank you. I'm going to get to this free agency, which is my favorite time of the year. It starts next week. Stick around. Let's do this. 2017, here are the players that are going to be free agents coming up in the next week. Malcolm Smith, Nate Allen, DJ Hayden, Matt McGloin, Andre Holmes, Menelik Watson, John Kondo, Brendan Trawick, Perry Riley, Darren Bates, Michael Rivera, Stacy McGee, and Latavius Murray. So the one player, honestly, the one only player on this list that have a lot of value and potential to get a good contract somewhere else is Latavius Murray. Teams that need a running back are going to pay this man to come to their team, and that's the question that we're facing right now. Do we want to pay Latavius Murray when we have potential two-headed little young monsters? And then we can also draft maybe another one another running back in the draft this offseason. Something to look out for. And quickly, I'm just gonna go over. Honestly, if I had to pick 5 guys to bring back, only 5, it would be. Let's see, Perry Riley. I really like what Perry Riley did for our team, and I'd love to bring him back. I love Andre Holmes, his connection with Carr, his height, 6'5". He's good. I like him. We brought him back from last year from a 1-year deal. I'd like to see him back. Menelik Watson, I like Menelik Watson. He's been banged up, but he's shown. I feel like he's shown some promise here and there, like when he's healthy. I really like to see him full strength. Give him one more shot. I think you can get him at cheap. I don't know about the market for Menelik Watson because of his injury. John Kondo, this one doesn't really have much impact. He's a long snapper. He's 35 years old, but he's been there since Seabass has been there. He's been with the Raiders a long time. That's a guy you bring back. And for my last spot, Um, this was kind of tough for me, but I think we should let Malcolm Smith walk. He did not live up to expectation, and I think Nate Allen was good at times. There was a lot of hype at first, but not too big on the expectation there. I think you, but overall, I think you bring back Nate Allen, and this might be a bad move to some of you. You bring back Nate Allen over the other guys because you're not sure what the safety position is going to do. And if you bring him in for depth reasons, that's kind of what he was. He wasn't a starter. You have Reggie Nelson, Carl Joseph, but we can use more depth. And if keeping a guy that's familiar with the defense on the team, I would do so. But definitely we have to upgrade all, improve that position regardless. So that's 2017 free agents for the Raiders. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit of news real quick. The stadium thing. Las Vegas fell through. Fuck it. I don't care anymore. I feel like we just get our dicks pulled apart all the time about this whole stadium thing. Oakland, LA, San Diego, fucking Las Vegas. It's ridiculous, man. So you know what? The Ronnie Lott Group just came out with a proposal today. Actually, just dropped like an hour ago. Hit news. So hopefully that works, man. Hopefully the NFL does what it needs to do and helps us out, helps Mark Davis out. Just get the stadium done. Keep the team in Oakland. There's no point on making this continue anymore, man. The stadium's a joke. We need a new one. We deserve a new one. The fans deserve a new one. The team deserves a new one. Let's get it done already. Hurry up, please. But catch me in Carson City to watch those Raiders at that home game in LA, though. That's all I gotta say. Alright, that's the stadium bullshit. Enough of that. Some NFL news, and this is going to really impact the Raiders, guys, so please, if you made it this far, awesome, cool, pay attention here. So Jason Pierre-Paul got hit with the franchise tag, which the deadline, I believe, is tomorrow to franchise tag. I don't think we're franchising tagging anybody from that list over there. Melvin Ingram from the Chargers got tagged. Let's see, who else got tagged? Le'Veon Bell and the Steelers got tagged, and Kirk Cousins also got tagged. So what the franchise tag is that means you tag the player that you want to keep, and they get a maxed amount of money they can make for the year. Like Kirk Cousins, for example, it's by position, but he's going to make $24 million this next season, and it's like another 1 year. It's like a 1 year deal that they're forced to play under. Oh, not actually play under, but to go along with. But they can hold out, which we've seen, I think, number of players do that before. Eric Berry just finalized a 6-year deal with the Chiefs. He's one that was talked about franchising, but they're not going to do that. He signed a 6-year deal. We'll see him in Kansas City for another 6 years. Darrelle Revis got released today by the Jets. Let's see. Adrian Peterson's going to be a free agent, and our names are circling all over that. I'll talk about that in another video. I have mixed emotions on that. It'd be cool, but then again, I don't think we should waste the money on him. Let's see. Jerry's Bird from the Saints. Jamal Charles, a longtime Chief, their franchise's leading all-time rusher, was released. That one is a big one. And Antonio Brown got a really big contract, and he's the highest paid receiver. I should mention Barry's the highest paid safety now. So going into free agency, guys, these guys are going to play a factor, especially the Petersons, the Revises, the Jamal Charles. It's going to weigh in on some of the decisions that some teams need to make. And one name for the Raiders that you should circle on that list is Adrian Peterson. He's getting talked about a lot, and the Oakland is getting talked about a lot with his name, from what I'm seeing. That really especially getting hyped up today out of all, because it became official that he's a free agent. Next week, March 9th, guys, is the new league year. That is the day one of free agency. It's when it all begins. This is when all the fun happens. March 7th is when teams can start talking to players and start negotiating with agents and things like that. So, the end of this week, probably around Thursday, Friday, in a couple days, I'll make another video. We're going to talk about 2017 free agency, who the Raiders should target, top 5 in every position, what we need to go and get, what are our biggest needs, and what are we going to do with that money that we have, because we also have some players we need to re-sign, as we mentioned before. So it's going to be really exciting, guys. This is when shit's going to start kicking up. The draft combine is also this weekend, so look out for that. Keep an eye out for some players. some big names, maybe some linebackers that we need to draft. Who are we going to take in the first round? Cornerback, linebacker. Some people have us taking running back. Oh, freaking hate that. Like, oh, I don't see why we do that. But then again, you never know what can happen. I didn't see Carl Joseph coming to us in the first round last year, and he did. So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, comment, like, subscribe, Raider Nation. If you're new, I'm Mr. Raider Kid, man. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. That's the same name. I use the same name on everything. Sometimes I switch the numbers up at the end, 24, 21. It's all 21, everything, all day, every day. But, yeah, that's my time. Shout out to everybody in the Raider Nation community, the video makers. Raider Central for always putting up videos every day I can watch about news and shit. So thank you guys for watching. Tune in. I'll be putting out a video later down the week. We'll talk about free agency. It's going to get exciting, guys. 2017 is our year. Let's go Raiders, baby. Raider Nation. Peace out.